Welcome everyone to a how to play Solar Warden demo presented by myself. I am Kamikaze, also known as Dan Adams, lead developer behind Solar Warden. I hope you've all had a chance to play. If not, this will be a good tutorial video that I'm going to be putting together to show you how to do some of the basics within the demo. Let's get started. So you'll be able to see down at the bottom here, you'll be able to open up your options if you need to and change your sound volume levels. I already have them set to what I like already. And you can also check out our controller layout. This one is primarily for the fighter or when you're actually in a vessel. We actually have a few bugs right now currently in the build where T for next target isn't actually working, and unfortunately neither are the fire weapon groups. That'll actually be patched right away. But you'll actually see here that your fire groups will be available on your mouse buttons, including mouse 4, which I've noticed a lot of you actually haven't been using, which is the turret guns for the bombers, as well as the turret guns for the Helios Corvette. The rest of these, I'll actually go into detail about how to actually use them as we go into game. So let's get started. For now, actually, just a side note, the graphics have been disabled now for switching your different options. But we've exposed on our Discord on how you can actually change your specific resolution settings and whether or not you want to have windowed mode. That will actually come in a quick patch soon enough. So let's get started. So we can launch the single player demo. As we get started here, we will load up the Planetary Defense Interface, or PDI for short. And right away in the demo you'll have your first wave spawning in. And this first wave spawning in is just to give you a sense of urgency. It's actually a pretty easy meteors that are actually detected here. And you can immediately see from our PDI view, we have the Earth or the globe directly in front of us, and you can press and hold left mouse button to rotate around the planet to get a better view of the geoscape and anything that's actually incoming. So if there are meteors that are off screen, you can actually rotate to actually quickly find them. We will be putting off-screen indicators for them within a later patch, so bear that in mind. And to give you kind of a rundown as to what the entirety of like all these different buttons and what all do they do, we'll quickly go through them right now. Up at the top left, you actually have the availability to pause the game and just play it back in 1 second per second. In our time dilation video, we've actually expanded on like how time dilation works and how that speeds up time within the game. For the demo, since we do have a few bugs with it, we've actually disabled it for the demo in order for you to experience the 1 second per second and kind of just get used to the rest of the game first as we roll out the rest of the features. We will jump into the Fleet Management tab. That's this button right here. We'll get to that one later, so we'll actually ignore that one for now. Down at the bottom here, this is your global status of the population. So as the meteors are actually impacting, this currently doesn't update, but this will show as the meteors are actually impacting, you will lose population over time. There will also be another bar down here in the future for more exposure on the project, but that's not actually available right now in the demo. These two buttons right here, we have the overview and the defense grid. Defense grid is more of a visualization to show future features that we're actually setting up. The defense grid is to actually show you what certain particular elements that you have, and this will actually have all of your kind of fleets shown with everywhere that you have currently covered by either defense satellites or some sort of scanning. As you can see, majority of the spaces here that I have scanning the sky relatively are actually empty, so that means like I don't have anything covering that area, either observatories looking for incoming meteors to get a better detection so that they're not so close to my planet, or not so close to planet Earth I should say, before they actually impact. So in that way I can actually intercept them, you know, further out from impact beforehand. So this kind of gives you a brief overview, and this will be expanded upon as we go into more of the campaign. So with the defense grid, you can actually turn that off and primarily play the demo with just overview, since the defense grid is actually primarily more for the campaign. The rest of these buttons down at the bottom here, they're actually all disabled right now for the demo, since we don't actually have the rest of the other campaign features actually set up for the funding, but as we've described in our Kickstarter campaign, we've actually want to set up the individual countries that are going to be funding the space defense program. And as you have, of course, with time dilation, being able to accelerate your time going through different months and as well as years, every month that you roll over, you'll actually have, depending on your monthly income, a bunch of the first world countries funding your space defense project. So that'll be in that button. Contracts are basically missions. Those missions are not available right now currently in the demo. We are currently demonstrating off like the core principles of the game. Technology is also your research, and hangar is actually your ship customization, which have all been disabled right now for the demo, since we've not completed those features as of yet. Also, over in the right-hand side here, we actually have this small little button here that I don't think anybody has found, or not many of you have found out yet, but this is the PDI Visuals. This allows you to actually toggle on and off different things, so you can actually show the entire PDI overlay with, you know, country borders, turn those off if you wanted to see the Earth kind of in its entirety, in order to turn off like the geocentric height grid. We'll get to that in a minute, but you can actually deselect all of your fleets and you won't actually see those anymore. You can even turn off the city markers, so all you'll see is just the planet as it is. Pretty, right? Alright. We will also impact markers, since we haven't actually had any impacts yet on Earth. That's actually toggled through this, and of course I've just turned off the clouds. But you can see here the clouds, you can actually turn those off as well if you need to see the planet a bit better without any sort of cloud visualization. But let's leave those on for now. This of course also turns on and off the country borders with the PDI overlay still showing like all the city lights and how they would actually be in their completion. Alright, let's get started with actually getting into combat. So we'll actually show off really quickly first some of the controls. Some of you might not know how to get anywhere in terms of selecting your fleet. So you can either mouse over your individual fleets. You can see we have Alpha Fleet. Zenith Station right now is currently on automatic, so you can't actually do anything with Zenith Station, but you'll be able to control your fleets in the demo and order them around in basic RTS fashion. So we can actually select them either mousing over them, or I'll turn those, deselect them right now. You can actually go into your fleet management tab, which is over on the left here, and click that to open that up. And instead of selecting the ships, I can select the entire fleet themselves and issue commands to them. Now some of the all the commands down on the bottom here, the ones that are actually displayed, you can see hold position here. They're currently in a hold position right now. Engage mag drive right now, that is currently automatic. We'll get to that in a second. We have a move to command, so if they're actually within range that doesn't require a mag drive to actually fly to that location, they'll actually just do a straight move to. And then this is an attack target command, which is automatic when you actually right click on a meteor. But so some basic movement commands for the fleet, you can actually select them. Now that I have them highlighted, I can actually order them around in different locations around the planet. So we don't actually want to have these spaceships. They're not designed to fly into atmosphere. So this height grid that we have here is your orbit height grid. So we're actually telling the fleet to orbit at certain heights relative to the planet. So this is more or less like a two-dimensional height grid, but it's actually wrapped all the way around the planet. So we can actually choose with our Alpha Fleet. We can actually right-click on a location. Let's fly over Madrid here. You can actually see how it's lined up directly next to the actual grid itself. So height-wise, you can see where it is relative. If you want to be like straight over top of Madrid, we would actually have our mouse here. We can right-click it. And from this, we haven't actually confirmed our order yet. We've right-clicked only once, but now that we've done that, we can actually move the mouse up or down, and you can see as I've moved it all the way down, that's actually the minimum height that we can have it before they actually interact with the atmosphere. So if we wanted to, we can actually say, oh, we want to have our fleet a little bit above Madrid, I don't know, probably about here, and then we right-click again, and that will confirm your order to have them move. And now this distance is actually pretty far relative. Let's actually zoom in and I can show you. So this distance is actually pretty far for them to go, so they'll actually automatically engage their mag drives and fly to that three-dimensional or 3D position that I've defined. And now that they've gotten close enough, they actually switch over to a move command and come out of mag drive, and they've directly arrived at that position, so now they've switched over to a hold position. Their hold position actually determines, in later patches we'll actually show you how this hold position actually works, where this sphere that you actually see, this augmented reality sphere that you see, is their engagement range. So where they're actually positioned, so they're actually saying that they want to hold position right here. We can actually recenter their hold position right directly on their fleet if we wanted to kind of update that position. Great. So now that we have some of the basics of the fleet ordering done, we'll actually look at engaging with this fleet. We'll actually engage with Alpha Fleet. We can actually now zoom out. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, with the zoom function, we have the little plus icon next to the fleet that you have selected. You can zoom in and out of the fleet and actually watch them in real time, what they're doing in combat. So let's zoom out of them, and let's look at actually engaging on this meteor cluster that's coming in on us. So with our fleet selected, of course, I'll have it deselected. We can either go into the fleet management tab, select our fleet, and now that they're selected, we can now right-click directly on the meteor cluster,
Moving to intercept.
and that will order them to directly engage on that meteor cluster. So let's take a look. Now that we have them selected, they're going to be engaging into mag drive. Let's actually zoom in on them and watch them as they go here. Here we go. Woo! So now that they're in transit, they'll be flying to their destination. They'll be coming up quickly here. And now that we're actually in range, we're going to be coming out of mag drive and attacking these targets. You guys are all kind of clustered up together. Let's break it apart. Whoa! Friendly fire a little bit. Oh no! All right. And with this first meteor cluster, we're actually going to let the AI actually fight this one. So you can see your fleets are automatically engaging for you. And in future releases as well of the game, we're going to be including micromanaging independent kind of group combat here. So as you're focused in on this fleet, you can actually look at this. Let me clarify. This is not in the demo yet, but we will look at actually expanding on individual setups so that you can actually like select individual fleets, or even right now you can actually control-click multiples, and you'll be able to right-click on different targets and actually tell them to engage on targets. But once again, that's currently not in the demo, but that is for a future release. So bear that in mind. What we can do right now, actually, since we are in combat, we'll actually show you one of our core features of the game, and that's called Telepresence. And that's a unique feature for Solar Warden, where you're actually able to jump into combat right away. So for, let's say for instance, with this Helios, I want to actually take control of this guy right here. I press that take control button after I've selected the ship, and now I'm directly in control of the vessel. So from the control mappings that you saw, we have WASD, which is the kind of 6 degrees of freedom. You also have R and F to actually strafe up. I hope you can see that now, actually, with the space dust actually going down relative to me. And then also F to actually strafe down. And then you have W and S, which activates your throttle. You can see there on the right-hand side. And of course, your mouse to be able to mouse look very similar to games like Freelancer or Everspace. So let's line this guy up and let's take a shot. Oh, here he's already dead. Oh no. There, let's get this guy instead. So let's line this guy up and shoot our lasers. We'll actually use mouse 1 for that. And the heavy lasers on the Helios are actually really, really powerful. And our AI have actually done a really good job cleaning this meteor cluster up already. Let's help them finish off this last silicoid larva. There we go. Alright. Is that it for the... Oh, no. We have... Oh, I completely missed this one. This one was on my off-screen indicator. Let's target this meteor. Oh, so for target selection right now, the best main way of target selection is actually using your mouse wheel on your mouse. So you can actually mouse up or down to select different targets. A lot of them right now are actually off my screen. But right directly in front of me, I can either look at actually middle clicking to select what's under my reticle. So you can see this Icarus right here, or this Tempest, I think. Yeah, this Tempest right here. And these guys are actually engaging on this meteor cluster directly in front of me. So let's help them out as well. So now that I'm actually kind of close with my Helios, I can't actually maneuver all that quickly. But what I can do is actually activate turret mode, which is G. And from there, I can actually look around freely while I'm actually still maneuvering my ship with still, you know, WASD. I can still yaw to the left, yaw to the right, while aiming around with my mouse, and that kind of acts independent of where I'm actually aiming my ship. So let's start shooting these guys. So with the turrets that I have actually equipped on here, they're not on mouse 1 or mouse 2. We have mouse 1 as the lasers, we have mouse 2 as the missiles. But we actually have mouse 4 set up. It's actually the thumb button or the back button for most of your guys' mice to actually turn on the turrets to be shooting these guys. There we go. All right. So let's line up and start shooting at this meteor here.
Meteor cluster destroyed.
All right. Let's clear out the rest of these larvae too. Take that. Is there one more? There it is. Yeah, there we go. Excellent.
All enemies destroyed.
All enemies
Construction
destroyed.
completed.
Excellent.
New fighter ready.
Alright, so the construction happens and occurs at the end of every wave. That allows you to actually unlock more ships for your fleets.
Detected.
And whoa, alright. we have several meteors that are actually incoming very quickly. We have one that's actually like really close already to impacting the planet. So we're probably going to want to send Bravo Squadron over there right away. So as we've kind of highlighted before, we can actually select the fleet. We'll right click and send them over there. And it looks like this one for the meteors detected over here, that one's not actually going to be impacting anytime soon. So we're actually going to send Alpha Fleet
Attack order confirmed.
over to this other meteor cluster that we see here, KS-082, which has 5 meteors detected on that one. What does this one have, actually? This one's also 5 meteor clusters. So with the meteor clusters that you mouse over and you click on them, you can actually zoom in on them specifically. And with any one of these things that are actually zoomed in, you can actually mouse over them and see like where their impact markers are going to end up if they collide with the planet. So we definitely don't want that to happen. Now that Bravo Squadron is actually engaged here, let's focus on them. Let's see what they're doing. So these guys are actually going crazy trying to shoot these guys up. So let's take control of this Icarus Swarmer here, and we'll show you some of the fighter combat that we got going on. So with the fighters, they're actually a lot more maneuverable than the Helios that I showed you. They actually also, with the Helios as well, this is the same thing that you have control of. You can actually have this assisted flight mode that's normal, but you can actually press control, and that'll cut your throttle for your main engine and actually conserve your momentum in a direction. So you can see here I'm actually traveling backwards relative to this guy, so as this guy's trying to come after me. Let's take this guy out. And then I can press control again and engage my main thrusters to also activate my afterburners as well and get up to a much higher velocity. So let's take this guy out too. Oh man, there's a lot of larvae coming out. I can hear them all shooting me. They're all chasing me. Oh wait. Take that. Yeah. All right. Where are you guys coming from? So with also in Newtonian drift mode, as we call it, you can actually augment your. Here, let's actually come to a stop while we're demonstrating this. So you have your 6 degrees of freedom, even with switching over into Newtonian flight. While you're actually using WASD, you'll notice your throttle is not actually being displayed. That's because there's no throttle actually, or no thrust being given to your main engines. So they're actually currently in their kind of lowest state. So they're not actually thrusting you mainly in any direction. So whatever direction that you've, applied additional thrust with your maneuvering thrusters, we'll actually display this better with a different HUD element to indicate to you which kind of mode you're in, either assisted flight or drift mode. So right now, since we are in drift mode, I'm actually going to press Control again, and then go into full assisted flight again. All right, so let's bust that open. Oh, we gotta grub. This guy's got a big laser. Oh no! So this guy barfs out a beam of plasma, and I'm getting bumped around by these asteroids here. Oh! Don't barf that laser at me. Take that. Take it. Come on, Bulletstorm, help me out. There we go. All right. Thanks, Wingman. I think we have another meteor over here. Let's take this one out. Your miniguns aren't in range, guy. You gotta get closer. All right, let's go into drift mode and actually strafe around this meteor. And that way we can actually do like a circle of death. There we go. Let's take out all the individual sections of the meteor. There we go. There's nothing spawning out of this one. Is this a dead asteroid? I guess it is. Oh, nope. I hear some. Oh, there's exploders. Oh, no. So the exploders, get them before they explode. So when those guys explode on your ship, they do quite a bit of damage. So watch out and don't let those guys collide into you. So they're basically like kamikaze AI or kamikaze aliens that try to take you out. Oh, no. Ooh, that was close. What are you shooting at? I've already killed him. Go after the meteor. Let's get this one. Oh, he's trying to clear out the rest of them. So with
cluster destroyed.
we have another. Oh, that's not my meteor cluster that was destroyed. That was actually Alpha Fleet probably cleaning up the other one. So we still have the. Where are my missiles heading to? Take that. Take that, larva. There we go. I think this one's the last one. There we go. Oh, no, it's not. My mistake. There's still one more. So when in doubt, you can actually look at your off-screen indicators to see where things are still occurring, and then you can use your mouse wheel to see where you need to actually maneuver yourself to fly toward and finish taking them out. So let's take out this one right here. Oh shoot! Oh, there's a lot of. Oh no! There was exploders. Ouch! Take that, larva. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. Yeah. All right. Is there one more? Oh my goodness. This meteor's still not dead.
Meteor cluster.
There we go. Whoa! Big grub coming out. There we go. Ugh. Let's catch up to you. I have to work on your accuracy, Tempest.
No immediate contacts.
Yeah, area clear because I did all the work. Thanks. I think I might take control of you, actually, because your accuracy is not very good, pilot. So now that we're cleared with all these ones, we can actually press. I didn't explain this before, and a lot of you might be lost with this. Is after taking control of any one of your ship, you can actually press Tab. That's actually highlighted here on our controller layout. Telepresence back to the PDI from your ship. That's an important one for anybody that actually gets lost in a ship and you don't know how to get back to the PDI. Make sure you're actually pressing Tab to do that. And we will resume. Alright, so from here, we're actually going to be ordering Bravo Squadron. Now that we've completed that meteors that are destroyed, we're actually going to be now taking Bravo Squadron
Order confirmed.
and attacking that new meteor cluster. With Alpha Fleet, they're actually currently idle. They're not actually doing anything as well. So we're actually going to be sending them over to that meteor cluster as well. And you can see here, since they don't have direct line of sight of the meteor cluster, they're actually going to be using the waypoints that are actually around the planet. So we've already had you know, several years of throwing up satellites up in orbit. So we're actually using these communication satellites as waypoint markers to help us guide ourselves around the planet. And you can see here, as soon as they have line of sight and aren't going to be colliding with the atmosphere, they're actually going to be changing their direction. So they're going to be smartly trying to navigate around the planet and cut corners where they can in order to arrive at that destination and attack their target. Alright, let's zoom in on Alpha. Alpha's a little banged up here, actually. The AI didn't do that good of a job to take out those targets. So let's jump in and take control of this Helios, actually. Where's this guy shooting? Alright. What do we got? Let's take out this meteor right here, right in front of us. One thing that we found as well with the bigger vessels like the corvettes, you can actually go into the drift mode and use your maneuvering thrusters to really help line yourself up and utilize your front-facing weapons to their best and most viable. So I can take this grub out at range, especially with that heavy laser that I got. Let's take out this meteor here. Boom! Little larvas that are coming out. Yeah, take that. So the lasers as well. The lasers definitely over longer distances lose their efficiency. So you're going to want to actually line yourself up wherever the lasers are actually going to be. So they're going to be showing in their stats what their best and most effective ranges are. So if there's a longer distance for them to actually focus their beam, they're going to be having their efficiency actually cut off. But right now in the demo, we don't actually have that feature currently implemented, but that will be a feature that we add in for the campaign with better and upgrades for your weapons. As you'll see them, you'll have different availabilities of modifying your ship as well. So this grub is actually kind of far. Get back here. My energy's too low. Why do you keep going after my other ships? Come here, grub. There we go. Oh, is there a grub down here? Are you out of my radar range? There we go. Take that. Alright. We have this final meteor right here. Yeah, alright. Oh, still a grub left. Excellent. Alright, I think that's it. Everybody can chill out.
Construction completed. New Corvette ready.
Alright, I think we're on the final wave, guys. Let's get ready for this. Ooh, hello. There's the moon. Hi, moon.
Warning. Mega meteor incoming.
Ooh, mega meteor incoming. Alright. What do we have here? We have 16 meteors coming in. Oh my goodness. Maybe this mega meteor actually broke apart. And now it's a bunch of little guys that are actually on their way to the Atlantic Ocean. This is going to really pummel the Earth. Alright, let's look at sending all of the fleets over there. So let's actually zoom out of the meteor cluster and look at grabbing every single one of ours. So you can actually, for this, you can actually, each one of the fleets that you have selected, you can actually single click them, of course, and send them one by one, but you can actually control and click these fleets as well to select multiples all at the same time and order them all at the same time to their destination. So you don't have to do that one by one in order to line them all up to go to different locations. So we got Charlie Squadron that's probably going to arrive at that location first. So let's zoom in on these guys. Let's see what they got. Oh yeah, we also have some new ships here. We have the Helios Longbow, which is like a missile boat, and we have the Tempest Nova, which is a complete laser boat himself, and then the Icarus Swarmer that we saw before. So let's take a look at the Nova here as he gets ready to fire. Alright. Whoa, you drained your energy really fast before I could take advantage of you. So both on mouse 1 and mouse 2. Ugh. Mouse 1 and mouse 2. Oh, there we go. Whoa! There goes all my lasers. All right, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Oh boy! Oh man, as the music ramps up. There we go. Let's take out this grub. Die, grub. Yeah, there we go. All right. Starting to get really busy here. Also, with the Tempest bombers, you have mouse 4 for the autocannons as well on the turrets. So those are an additional thing that you. Whoa, no! Oh man, here comes the space worm. Oh, I wasn't expecting you so soon. Oh my goodness. So, randomly in the asteroids in the wave 3, you will find the space worm, and he will show up. Be very. Oh man, my grub. Where is he? Where are you shooting me? You go away, you die. Die, 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 die. Damn. Alright. So, this giant worm that we have that's flying around. Where did he go? Oh man, he's right there. He chases down. Oh, there goes one of my ships. Oh man, he just ate him. You can see his corpse remains that are going. He shoots out these spikes that actually home in on your ship. As you can see, that poor Icarus that's there. Which one is he shooting at now? Oh, is he going after the longbow? Nope, he's going after this one. This poor swarmer. The needles that are actually shooting out, they actually slow down your ship so that he can actually close the distance. Oh, and they're shooting it on me. Oh no, press C for flares. So with the flares that are actually shooting out behind me, they actually confuse the spikes. So the Tempest and the Helios actually have those equipped. So you can actually utilize those to your advantage. Let's actually take control of the longbow. Longbow is actually really effective against this guy. We're already losing a bunch of ships, so let's try to get this. Let's try to get this sorted. All right. Here we go. All right. No, no, no. Eat that. Eat that. Countermeasures. Oh no, he's gonna be eating my vessel. Let's go. Full throttle afterburner. Alright, turn mode. Let's look. Where is he? There he is. Let's fire those missiles from the missile turrets. Alright, let's turn around. As we turn around, we can actually shoot our lasers back toward him. Oop, I lost my lock here while I went back into normal flight. Yeah! Alright, he's about a third down. Come on, guys, I need your help. No, no, launch countermeasures. Thrust away. Ugh. Take that, take that, take that. Oh, your shells are really hard. So with the worm as well, we currently don't have it in for the demo quite yet, but you'll be actually able to subsystem target, and you'll be able to actually shoot at different particular points of the worm and blow off some of his scales. And when you're actually shooting at those parts that have actually lost their scales, oh no, I don't have any more countermeasures. Launch, launch, launch. There we go. You're still after me? No. Countermeasures. Countermeasures, where are you? Reload! Reload! There we go! Alright. Whew. Whew. Stop shooting at me! Take that, take that! Oh, here come the spikes! I'm so far for your spikes though. Launch countermeasures. Stop chasing me! Why are you coming after me? But what I was saying was this guy's chasing me, hopefully. Oh no! We will have the exposed part of his body actually be weak point, since all of his scales are currently on his body right now. That's why he's actually taking so long to take out. Oh, thank goodness! Now he's finally not on me. All right, let's rotate the ship. Come on, turn around. There we go. No, no! Why are you coming after me again? Countermeasures. All right, you're almost dead, sucker. You're almost dead, sucker. Die, 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 die. Die! victory! Alright. Thank you everybody for watching. And if you like what you saw, and please definitely download the demo and try it for yourself. And if you liked what you played and what you saw here, definitely consider supporting us on Kickstarter. That's enough for me. This is Kamikaze. I will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Solar Warden, you are clear to engage.